Greetings and welcome everybody to my YouTube channel, All That Is. I'm so glad to have you here today. As always, we have Katrice joining us for this Galactically Speaking with Raquel and Katrice. This is our episode number 3, and we're so glad to be here with you.
Oh,
Please love, like, and share this video. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think of this episode and the past 2 episodes that we just had. Help us out with the channel by subscribing and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our content or updates. Yeah, I just wanted to welcome Katrice to the show. How are you
here
doing,
we go.
Katrice?
I'm good.
Yeah,
Before
good.
we went live, I was sort of venting about something not quite as
Yeah,
but I'm right here now.
good. That's wonderful. So we had a great show last week where we discussed the divine feminine and divine masculine energies, and we also talked about the frequency of music and how that has been inverted from 432 to 440 hertz. And I think we had a pretty good discussion around those topics, and we'll touch back. We'll just touch back in a bit to see if there's any residual things that we want to talk about. But
Mm,
I just wanted to let you know that Catrice and I are here to bring forth our own perspectives of healing through our individual tools and healing modalities. Catrice offers energy healing sessions, which she tells me she's been super busy with the last couple of days, so that's fantastic. So she brings alignments to her clients on a soul level through her intuitive soul reading sessions, meditation circles, and her spiritual development classes. And my work is similar, but it's a little more expanded, if you will, because I've got a couple of books under my belt. I've written 2 books about the higher self energy, connecting to the higher self energy. This was in relation to a group of interdimensional beings that came to me and basically transmitted this energy to me. And the first book is called All That Is Progressing to the Fifth Dimension. And the second one was a communication that was directly from Yeshua ben Joseph. It's called The Voice of an Angel. And both of these books are available through my website. I also do healing sessions, one-on-one healing sessions. Again, this is available through my website. And I just want to make one more small announcement. I've got my course, which is Connecting to the Higher Self. I've got a 50% offering on this course until the 30th of January. So you can access this from stan.store/allthatis. I've just signed up with this company recently, and it's been wonderful. They've been helping me with my course and just helping me to offer it through their through their platform. So there you go. Those are the announcements for today. And I think today we decided we'll talk about the ascension process and what that means in terms of ascending as a soul on this plane of existence, and what that means for on an individual level, on a collective level. Um, what does progressing to the fifth dimension mean? So let's get into it. Any
righty.
well, let's just see if there are any residual thoughts from last week. Did you want to sort of bring forth anything that you might have forgotten to talk about in terms of the divine feminine, divine masculine, or the music industry that we talked about, or the inversion of the music industry?
Only how it impacted the work I did since last week. And
Okay.
it was really interesting that I was bringing in a lot more men for different sessions, right? And
Okay.
each one of them were really having issues with accepting that divine feminine aspect, right? Are you okay? You froze.
Sorry.
You're
Yeah.
freezing.
Having issues with what?
Oh, sorry. Okay. All of them were having issues integrating and accepting and honoring the divine feminine within. And so it
Okay.
was extremely powerful being able to really align them, and how simple it was. But
Mm-hmm.
just it sort of segues into what we'll be talking to about later, but it was all about being able to feel that connection of the higher realms and
Mm-hmm.
allow that to permeate your physical self. And it's just
Right.
amazing how integrating, well, the divine feminine and the divine masculine, but there's all these different archetypes within us. And if we
Yeah.
can't integrate the feminine and the masculine, we're going to have a really hard time
Yeah.
allowing other energetic beings to rise forth within us, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you manage to move past that blockage, if you will?
Well, in my own place, well, with these people, it was all in the breath. It was just taking that moment to be fully present and allowing yourself to open to other
Mm-hmm.
possibilities. And I have this magic little thing I do that takes you right there. And it's like that connection that you have on the deepest level is really integrated when you can bring that divine masculine and the divine feminine together, realizing you're not just one or the other. Okay,
Yeah.
granted, you and I, we are in a female body, right? But it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter what physical visual we are, right? It's that essence of who you are as a soul. Mm-hmm.
Great. Talking about.
Okay.
So you were talking about I
Uh,
guess the divine feminine and divine masculine and this customer that you had or this
there was
client
a
you
couple
had.
of them. There was a couple
Yeah.
of them, and it was just realizing how how easy it is to step into that higher elevation by
Mm-hmm.
just becoming present. And
Yeah.
I was saying, the more balanced you are in your physical presence, the more aligned you can be with that higher essence. And it's just
Absolutely.
it's I think it's because it's getting, well, it's really important, especially with what's going on all over the world right now, right? In all the different political ideologies, because they're really trying to take charge of everybody's mind and how they think, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I'd never really thought about that sort of stuff, but I think that is why the universe keeps bringing me these people that I can go bing and ignite that little spark
Yeah.
within them, right?
Absolutely.
I
Because what you're doing is you're essentially anchoring the light, right?
mhm,
And you're making
completely.
the presence of the light stronger than ever so that we can do this work, right?
And it doesn't take a lot. It just is a desire to be more than what you are as
Mm-hmm.
a soul. And I think as I get older, and there's way fewer years ahead of me than there are behind me, it's
Yeah.
become so, it's all, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like I don't have any fear of
Yeah.
being here in this physical body.
Yeah.
And that's made a huge difference in how I interact out in the world, and
Yeah.
being able to show other people a different way of relating to that aging process.
Yeah.
That too is huge. It's
Well, when I look at you right now, you're already in the light.
yeah, really. La, la, la.
Oh, we can make jokes about it, right? But no,
Well, of
it's
course we can.
true.
It's
You
true.
are you are anchoring the light
Mhm,
powerfully for any of
mhm,
these beings that you come into contact with, right? And
mhm.
and the more that people become aware and awakened, the more it tips the balance in
Yeah.
favor of where we are going. And to that effect, I just want to show you a beautiful picture that depicts this energy that we are flowing through. Um,
Oh, that's
right?
where you were
And
trying to go that last time.
yes, I hope this works. Are you able to see a picture?
No, I see a little you and a little me. Oh, there we are. Ascension into 5D. Okay.
Yeah, so this is what I understand is our trajectory, if you will. So you see this arrow that's going all the way up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we are moving from the third dimensional space and time
Yeah.
all the way through to 2025. So this middle part that you see is what I call the photon belt, right?
Right. Where
So
they call
all of this,
the great solar flash. Is that what they're saying?
yeah.
Yeah.
So they've got the great solar flash here, which is between
Yeah.
2020 and 2023. But we've already crossed this. So the crossing the galactic equator is already done. That happened in 2012, right? And that was the
Right.
great awakening threshold, if you will, right?
Hmm.
And that also coincided with what I've come now, or I've gotten to my reality as the decree that was issued to the Draco to leave this reality.
All right.
So
Yeah.
that happened as well in 2012. But we are in 2025 now, and they still haven't completely left. So they are essentially dishonoring that decree, and it's just so hard to get them off this plane of existence. So, yeah, so we are in this plane right now.
Right.
And in my conversations, if you will, or my downloads that I've gotten from Yeshua, he
Hmm.
said we've got up to 2016, which is when this window will close,
Oh,
right? So this photon
2016 or
60,
2060? Oh,
2060, or
oh, got
60
it.
or 64, somewhere in there.
Okay.
So we've got this window within which we need to get like the maximum number of people awakened within this beautiful light that we are seeing, right? Which is the photon
Mm.
belt area, which is highlighted here. And so yeah, this is like an ideal time for us to awaken. And I guess once we go past that 2060 timeline, in a way, we are still within that golden age, but we will not have got that enriching energy, if you will, which is like a direct line, like it's like a straight arrow going straight to the creator energy, right?
So if I can add something in here, right in
Yeah,
the very
yeah.
center of it, that, what do you call those things? In the very,
This this
that
thing,
thing. Yeah, yeah.
the flower of life.
That's okay. So as I'm looking at that flower of life,
Mm-hmm.
within this visual,
Mm-hmm.
according to that, we are right smack in the center of the flower of life.
Absolutely.
That for the timeline, right?
Yeah, yeah. We are there right now, actually. Yeah,
Yes.
2025 is
Yeah,
like the
look at
year
us.
for,
Right.
it's like the year for expansion. It's for the year of realization, for manifesting, for, for clearing all of that dead energy from all of the past lives. Like, all of the
Mm.
stuff that we've been like,
Working
we
on
were
healing,
in the
right?
darkness, right? Yeah. Just look at the beautiful light that's coming in, right? It's quite amazing when you look at it, right? So
Hmm.
here it says 5D hyperdimensional dense energy cloud, ascension and DNA upgrade, consciousness renaissance. As our solar system travels further into the dense energy cloud, our consciousness begins ascending faster. Our minds and bodies transform and we become higher dimensional beings. Mother Earth shifts into a 5D planet. Spiritual awakening occurs. And I feel this, I feel this every day. I feel that urgency to get things done, to wake people up essentially. I've been shouting from the rooftop tops for the last 10 years, but it felt like I was shouting into the darkness, really.
But you know what it was? Because let's just say humanity, it's those that were still down in that lower level, they weren't ready to open to
Yes,
the
it
possibility.
truly is. Yeah, it truly
That's
is.
it. It's now is the time, right?
Yeah.
And it's like when you said you feel this great urgency,
Mm-hmm.
I, for me personally,
Yeah.
don't feel an urgency anymore because I've managed to settle myself into a flow right now where
Yeah.
every week I have all these energies just coming to me, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh my God, I feel like I don't have to rush. I
Yeah.
just have to be me.
Yeah.
Right. And it
And
makes
that's
such a
awesome.
difference when we're
Mm-hmm.
talking about bringing others up, elevate their consciousness. If people could just honor who they are and
Mm-hmm.
really be grateful to be in this body. And if
Yeah.
you're not grateful to be in this body, well, do something about it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Either change your diet, start getting more exercise, start
Mm-hmm.
doing more that gives you joy,
Yes.
right? And
Absolutely.
it's not all about suffering and slogging away. Ugh.
And that's been a part of that inversion, right? Like these energies, they came together to suppress us as much as they could in all walks of life, right? And
Oh,
so we are trying to like wake up, and when we wake up, we are waking up to basically the garbage of the last so many centuries, right? So it does take a little bit of energy and strength from ourselves to hold that line, if you will, and
yeah,
say, okay, I can do this, and find that strength within to be able to do that, right?
right. I
um
hear you.
and so it's to me, it's the amalgamation of not only our own energy and whatever that is, like your soul energy and your past, like it doesn't matter where you're coming from. So it's
Mhm,
aligning first of all, your ancestral background, your family background, the truth of what your belief systems are, right? Bringing
mhm,
all of that into the forefront and coming into alignment with that, just letting whatever is not suited for your path and letting it go, and then finding your own truth, finding your own authenticity
yes.
within all of that, right?
I
And
think
so
I,
going forward from that point.
yeah. I don't remember. I can't remember. Did I tell you that little story about somebody asked me, what are your goals? Did I
Your
ever tell you that
purpose. Your
story?
purpose.
No, no. Somebody said,
Oh.
what are your goals for the future?
Oh, okay.
And I can remember going, oh my God, I was 40 and I thought, envisioned where I thought I should be, at 40. And
Yeah.
flash forward, here we are. I'm 40. I've got even more than what I thought I would have. It
Yeah.
was like I'm looking all around here and I looked into my eyes and they were dead. It was like, oh my God, who am I? I
Yeah.
have no idea. Anyways, but it was a therapist who said,
Yeah.
well, Katrice, you've got basically everything. And I went, yeah, but it's not all about stuff. And he goes, but you must have goals. And I went, okay. The only goal that I really think has been guiding me all this time is I just want to finally come to a place
Mm-hmm.
where I'm in total acceptance for all of who
Yeah.
I am and what
Yeah.
I am. And
Yeah.
then I will know that I'm good
Yeah.
and real
So you came to that realization when you were 40, right?
40. Yeah.
So that is a long time when you think of your lifespan, right? No, and I'm not criticizing you in any way.
Oh
I'm just
no. Oh
saying,
no. I had already
I'm just
started.
saying in general,
No.
that's for me. I came to that realization in my 45 perhaps, right?
Yeah.
So it was quite late. I mean, there were, signs along the way, but I ignored them, right? But full realization perhaps came around that time as well. But if you look at
Mhm.
it generally, it's like we waste our entire life, like especially our youth, right? Where we should be doing this sort of work, right? And
Yeah.
putting that much more energy into it.
Hmm.
But it seems like it's a lost cause, right? And that just triggered something in me. Like in India, in every family in the old days, one kid, and India, they had lots of kids, right? Every
Yeah.
family. So one kid used to be, they used to dedicate one kid to go off and live in the temple or live as a spiritual person.
Oh,
So right from that young age, that person would go off and become like,
a monk
a
or
Hindu
a holy man.
god,
Or, yeah, yeah.
follow the Hindu tradition or become a monk or whatever.
Hmm.
But they would let one person in their family become a holy person. And so they were anchored in that energy right from the start. And
Hmm.
then, by, osmosis, if you will, the rest of the family, would somehow gain that spirituality, if you will, from that one family member, right? Like when they
Hmm.
come back home for holidays or festivals or whatever, right? They
Right.
maintain that spirituality that way. now it's like the the influx of the West has reached India, and it's like completely spun its on, the culture and all of that on its head. But
Wow.
that's just an example. It's like we have lost that connection or that intention of why we are really here. we
Totally,
we are
totally.
here to experience the energy, if you will, of the divine within us, and through us. We are not here to, and that's what society tells us, right? We are here to work hard, get a house, get a car, get whatever, and that seems to be the objective. Which, after a while, it's just so it's so uh, just so
Ugh,
basic,
sorry.
isn't it? Yeah,
Well,
there's no substance to it.
no, it's all about surface and outer,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Nothing to do with inner. And I can remember even when I had everything, as everybody said, there was this such a sense of lack within
Yeah.
me, right? And I'd always worried about not ever having enough. And
Hmm.
whoa, here I am. Well, I got more than enough. This is just fine. And I had to step away from it and just let it all go.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it was like that was I when I felt I was coming into my own power, because I finally went, okay, that's it. I'm going to let go of what I thought I had to have, and I'm going to just look out there and see what I'm really supposed to be doing. Sorry.
Was there a key, something that sort of switched that made that switch within your reality to take that step, or was it a gradual change for you?
uh, was it a grad? Hmm. I was having lots of experiences where I'd be in the middle of living my life, and all of a sudden it was like I'd be go sort of like this. It was like it would sort of go. It was like, okay, here. It was like all of a sudden there was this tilt thing, and I felt like I was looking in, and I'm going, "Who the hell is living this life?" And then it would come back together. It was the weirdest thing,
Mm,
but each time that happened and I came back, and it was like just a, usually I'd be in the middle of making dinner and my whole family's around, and it's like, what? But each time it happened, I thought, you're not in Kansas anymore. Something's going on here, right? And then I was married, and this one night, all of a sudden, again, things happened to me when I was preparing meals, it seems a lot, right? Which is one of my favorite things to do. It's how I show love,
okay.
or one of
Yeah.
them, right? Anyway, I can remember my husband talking about how when we were old, we were going to be rich old geezers.
Okay.
And I heard, I felt there was this piece of me came up, and I heard me say, I can't see me being with you when we're old geezers. We have nothing in common. And I went, are you really, do you think this is the way we're going to go forever? I think our marriage is over.
Oh, just like that?
And
Wow.
he goes, what are you talking about? I went, no, really, I'm serious. We have to figure out a way to separate. And all
Wow.
of a sudden, again, instead of being afraid, it was like, wow, I'm really going to start doing it for me.
Mm,
And hello, were there a bunch of hills and valleys? And of course
yeah.
there were, but
So do you think that was your higher aspect coming in and
oh, of
saying
course,
hello?
I didn't realize at the time
Yeah,
exactly.
because you did mention that you had this sort of priestess alignment, right, with a
Yes,
higher aspect of yourself.
yeah, totally, totally, totally.
And once you attained that authenticity, if you will, did that presence become more prevalent?
It was, yeah, I knew myself as something more. Let's just put it that way, right?
Mm,
But not like, yeah, yeah, here I am, because I've just never been like that. But I
yeah.
know that there is this much higher being within
Yeah.
me. And I
Yeah.
just feel, um, I feel comforted. I feel safe to be
Mm.
me. And
Mm.
that's huge. I don't know, a lot of people, especially, yeah, a lot of people with past trauma and everything, right? They're
Yeah.
always very hesitant, men and women. It isn't
Yeah.
just us, right? And it's like all of a sudden, yeah, you don't depend on anybody except yourself,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then
Absolutely.
as we're talking about ascension, it's all about really having faith and trusting that you're being guided the
Mm-hmm.
right direction, right? There's always signposts if you've taken a left when you should have gone right,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know? It's like, and so many people don't pay attention. They brush
Mm-hmm.
it away.
Well, it's that subtle voice, right, which is not very loud, and so you can miss it if you're not being present and paying attention, right?
And another thing too, though, a lot of people, when all of a sudden it's bing and they have this big awakening, it just freaks them right out,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And if when that happens, if they start running in the other direction, right?
Oh,
It's
things
like,
just get worse. Yeah.
yeah, and then you, huh, but you can't force anybody to
No.
do
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah. Well,
Mhm.
it's a personal journey, right? And so,
Oh,
yeah, you
definitely.
have to let people make those mistakes and then correct it on their own. Yeah, I keep saying this, but I call it the scenic route.
Yes. Of
Right?
course
You
it's
can
easy.
keep going and my gosh, it's so very tempting, right? There's so many things that
And
you get,
take you off
you get,
track.
yeah, and
Totally.
in today's world it's so distracting. Every minute, every second,
Oh, yeah.
you're being distracted to be taken away from your path, right? And it's so alluring. It's so, there's so many things that can take you away and yeah, so it's difficult sometimes to stay on track and figure these things out for yourself, but I'm happy to say that I was on the scenic route for a very, very long time.
Well, plus you look at your when you look at your background, and you'd already talked about this, that we're all, told that you should work hard and accumulate, and there's
Mm,
all that stuff, and that was right?
yeah, yeah.
But those of us on a with a higher calling, let's call
Hmm.
it that, that just seems so flat, right?
Yeah.
Would it be nice to have
Well,
more money?
boring is another
Probably.
term that it's called boring. It's like,
Oh,
keep going though. I hear what you're saying.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like, hmm, being able to finally align with what gives you with okay, what gives you joy,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And for me, I
And
guess.
it's like once you get into that authentic self, if you will, of yourself, right?
Mhm.
It's like all of these things just fall away, right? Like you said, the people that didn't necessarily align with you, they just fell away, right? Same thing happened to me.
Mhm.
It's like, yes, I still have all those, those connections and those relationships that mean a lot to me, but if they are not within my realm, if you will, and in alignment with my purpose and with my path, then they will not be, let's just say they're not going to be partaking in my joys, my everyday discoveries
Yeah.
of what I'm finding out, like our conversation today, right? it's
Oh,
it's you and me talking about the richness of what we have both experienced, right?
great.
Now a lot of people, they don't necessarily see what you and I see.
Mhm.
For them it's like, oh yeah, she's on this, trip, if you will, right?
Well, or the bit, oh my God, look what she let go of,
Yeah.
right?
And to me it's a joy to be here. I've got so much to explore, and I have explored, and I've written two books about it,
I
and
know.
there's just so much, and still every day I get surprised, like even these last few weeks, like never in my wildest dreams would I have thought that would have met so many people that I have just in 2 weeks. So
It's accelerating,
it is
right?
exhilarating, and it's just so fantastic. So, those experiences all come to you when you are ready and when you are ready to receive this higher light,
Mhm.
you know.
Oh,
And that
completely.
picture that I showed you is what that higher light is all about. You know, it's like the minute you open up, it's like a flower or a plant being exposed to the
Yes.
sun, right? It's like you
Right.
blossom within that light, right?
Totally.
So it's pretty amazing. So I just wanted to touch back into that authenticity. It's as if you have to align not only your present lifetime, but your past lifetimes as well. But you also have to align society, you
Mhm.
have to align belief systems, whether they are religious or scientific for that matter.
Mhm.
You have to align your astrological, your astronomical, your multidimensional aspects. And that includes, whether you believe it or not, extraterrestrial life, you
Mhm.
know? And a lot of people think, oh, woo woo, you know, this is going into the woo woo category. But, you know, I never believed in ETs before this experience, you know? And right now, I'm like all for it, you know, whether you call them multidimensional beings or whether you call them extraterrestrials, right? But they
I
do
remember,
exist.
okay, when we're talking about ETs, and isn't that funny? You forget about things, okay? Um, Living on Kauai, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so there was always lots of everybody gets together and you have potlucks and there's music and singing. That's you just and you're hanging out on somebody's
Yeah.
lawn or lanai. Anyway, we're all out next door to where we were living and sitting in lawn chairs, and there's just, it was just such a wonderful energy. And all of a sudden I looked up and I went, huh. And I say to the person next to me, is that what I think I'm seeing? And as soon as I did that, this light, it was this bright, bright light, came zooming closer, closer, closer. And I'm going, what the fuck? And then it went whoop, flipped, and it's like hit the afterburners and just took off. And I
Wow.
went, did I just see what I think I just saw? And she
That's
goes,
amazing.
oh, yeah. She goes, those guys have been coming around for years.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
really like it seems, when we're all joining together. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
going, whoa, wait a minute. It was wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that same night,
Yeah.
I'm also sitting there, and there was this big bunch of palm trees between these two yards or
Mm-hmm.
houses. And all of a sudden I went, what the heck? And the biggest snow white owl
Mm.
whoops over everybody as well. To say that wasn't a pivotal evening
Wow. Yeah.
would be an understatement. But both of those things were so out there, but I felt such a connection
Yeah.
here, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was that day I thought, nothing is out of the realm of possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing, right? And you do tend to start looking at the world through a whole different lens.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. What did the owl mean to you?
Oh, incredible wisdom, right?
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
pure divine wisdom. I
Yeah.
mean, there's all kinds of owls, but a
Yeah.
great big snowy white owl on
Yeah.
Kauai? Hello, what's he even doing there?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
But I'm just, when we're talking about there's messages all the time.
Mhm.
There are
Absolutely.
messages all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah. And it's everybody's perception is different, right? To how you understand this energy or what that means to be connected to the interdimensional energies, if you will, right?
Mm,
And so there's so many different ways in which you can connect. And because we have been shut down for so long,
mhm,
right? Our senses are at the very bottom of this understanding or this sensitivity, if you will, to
mhm,
really figuring out, okay, where it is I stand in experiencing something like this, right? For me, it was automatic writing, right? So I was like, I want to find out what my secret, my secret superpowers are, right? So
Yeah.
I was like, I want to be psychic. I want to see things into the other world. And so one day when I was just out of meditation, I went into this automatic writing course, and that was the breakthrough for me, right, to get into this realm. Even though I encountered the dark forces as my, stepping stone into this arena, if you will.
Because you
But
were so open. You didn't
I was open.
understand
Yeah,
about
I
all
was
those
open. I was like, come on, whatever you are, let me see you.
whatever. Oh my God.
Yeah. So I
Out of
guess I
wonder.
asked for it, but
Yes, you did.
yeah. But I have no regrets,
Oh.
that paved the way for me to be able to now distinguish between the light and the dark energies, or the energy forces, if you will, right? And
Mm.
so my authentic path came through that, it was through the darkness that I found the light, if you will, right?
Oh,
And
totally.
so for me, it was aligning, if you will, all of that in my own life, because I never believed in ETs. I never believed in religion. I never believed in any of these things, right? So it was for me a really hard lesson to learn, right? To first of all come to understand myself and where I stood in all of this, right?
Okay.
And then align all of my religious beliefs, and then come face to face with Yeshua, who in this world is like everything Christianity stands for. And I'm like, how do I know it's you? Like, prove it to
Yeah.
me, prove yourself to me. There was this back and forth arguing that went on between me and my consciousness and this being, right? And so this is like, an interdimensional being that has ascended into the light, and
Yeah.
that's now working from like the third dimension all the way to the 12th dimension. And so when you talk about multidimensional beings, like this is a prime example, right? And so for me to align my energies to that energy and understand where it is I was coming from, first of all, and align myself and my understanding and my belief systems to even match this being's energy, even for a sliver, it
Yeah.
took me a really, really long time to align that. And once I did, it was like boom, everything just opened up, and I've learned so much, Catrice, from this being and from all of the energies that came after that.
Yeah.
It's like so many things just fell into place, fell into alignment,
Well,
and
you
my
feel when
life was
you,
never the same.
because what's happened is instead of doing things like everybody else did, you allowed yourself to open to something more. And what
Yeah.
happens when you start bringing forth that high vibrational energy through you,
Mm-hmm.
the power that you imbue is unlike anything.
Yeah.
And it's not an ego power at
Yeah.
all.
No.
It's that sense that you're connected on such a deep level
Yeah.
with so much,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
it's funny, I'll be talking about something, and I go, but then of course, mere mortal humans, it's like I get it. It's like there are those people that this is just too out there. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't even want to imagine what it's like. And hello, that's them and that's fine, right? You're
Yeah.
never
Yeah.
going to have the whole world all of a sudden en masse go, whoa, even if we would like that, right?
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
but we can really have an impact on those that we come in contact with.
Mm-hmm.
And by allowing in those who want to come and have contact with us, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. No, it's very true. And I forgot my train of thought and where I was going with this.
Oh, good. I'm
Um,
glad it's not just me.
but I think that brings me back to the first book that I wrote, called the All That Is Progressing to the Fifth Dimension, and it talks about the true evolution of a being, right? And so when you think in those terms, it's like that purity or that cycle was disengaged, if you will, from our reality, right? And
Mhm.
so we are having to again, that's like another cycle that we have to come to terms with, right? We have to come to an understanding that we, or I'm speaking from personal experience, of course,
Mhm.
and then you can apply this to your life as well. So I had to come to the understanding that I was a prisoner on this planet. And so my life and my past lifetimes were interrupted, if you will, from that true evolutionary cycle, right?
Okay.
So I'm here as a prisoner. This
Prisoner on the planet.
the
Okay.
evolutionary cycle, if you will, is like it's going in circles and it ascends to the higher realms, right? And so when I became a prisoner as a result of the Draco invasion, that evolutionary cycle or the true evolutionary cycle of the creator was interrupted, right? And so I've
Totally.
had all of these multiple lifetimes away from the light, right? I was taken away from this true path and had all these multiple lifetimes. So this was my scenic journey, if you will, right? Or the scenic route. And so now,
Mhm.
after I've come back into the realization of what has happened, I have to align and understand what that true evolutionary cycle or true evolutionary path originally was and what it meant to be,
Mhm.
right?
No,
And
I
so
totally
coming
hear you.
into alignment with all of that, and Yeshua in his book, The Voice of an Angel, clearly talks about that evolutionary cycle because he talks about his birth as a star being or as a light being, and then coming and having that third dimensional experience on the earth plane,
Mhm.
and then moving back to his. So it's like you are a light being, you come to earth, you have your experience, and then you go back, but only this time you're expanded, right?
Yeah,
Right, you've got all of this experience, and so you go back and you align that experience with your original energy, right? And you
totally.
become that much more expanded as a light being with this incarnation on the earth as in your back pocket, if you will, right?
Right,
And
right, right.
so going back into that light energy again, that's the true evolutionary cycle, right? And then you expand and you become higher, you go into the higher realms from perhaps the fifth to the sixth and seventh dimension. This is what the natural progression of that
Mhm.
evolutionary cycle is. But
Totally.
we, on the other hand, or me, that was interrupted, right? So here I was having my third dimensional experience, and boom, the Draco come in and say, no, 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 you're not going to go back into the light. You're going to live here for however many, cycles of the third dimension, right? And so now we, because of all the things that are happening in that picture that I showed you, we're back into the light. And so it's like, so I'm zooming back into this light and I'm like, wiping my eyes and waking up and saying, hey, what happened to the last 100 years,
No, I hear you. But
right?
it's
So,
like it's like when we talk about 2012, that was a pivotal year for all of us, for the whole planet. But
mhm,
now, okay, so what was that 13 years ago, right? Anyway, here we are now, though, with all the learning, all the crap that we've seen all over the planet that's been going
yeah,
on for the last 13 years. And so here we are now, and who we, okay, the being that we are on a soul level, it's time now for all of us to be fully aligning
mhm,
because it's just getting quicker and quicker and
yeah,
quicker. And
yeah,
we've got to feel grounded. We have to feel connected, right? We have to understand that the world is not going to end, right? The
no,
way of the world will definitely be ending, but the world's
yeah.
not ending, right?
Absolutely.
More
Because
and
there's too much light, right? There's too much light coming in, and all that garbage is not going to gel with the new being that we are becoming, right?
mhm,
And
mhm,
that's something to take into consideration too, because there is a belief and this hasn't come into my reality, but there is a belief that the birthing of the new earth, if you will, or the new reality, which is in the 5D and the higher
mhm.
dimensions, is already in existence, and we dip in and out of that reality, right?
Oh yeah.
But if you are not within that pure energy of the fifth dimensional new earth, if you will,
Mhm.
you're going to remain here,
Oh, yeah.
You are not going to even be able to step into that energy, right? And so there is that belief by some folks in my reality that believe that there is a quarantine on this third dimension, if you will, where all the garbage is happening.
Hmm.
And until and unless we reach that tipping point where we personally are able to align ourselves with that higher dimensional energy, will we be able to get to that state of being, right? And by that, I don't mean that you have to pass away or you have to
No,
die
no,
or, give up the ghost in this physical energy, right?
no, no.
It's a way of
It's a
shifting your
consciousness.
energy. It's the conscious
Yes.
shift into that dynamic, if you will, right?
Mhm.
And thinking differently for yourself and for your well-being, right? And moving into that higher frequency or higher vibration of your being that will
Mhm.
take you to that stage. So, all of the energies of fear, of greed, of materialism,
Oh,
of hatred, all of those low vibrational energies will not be able to take hold in that frequency energy of the new earth.
right.
it You will instantly be chucked back into the 3D.
Yeah, right.
Right? So
Yeah, I
it's
hear
like
you.
that there's no way that energy will ever be able to exist in that reality. And
Mhm.
so that's why it's so important to get to that stage, to that state of mind right now, to be able to move past all of this, forgive, align, and then move forward to that state of being. Like right now we are seeing so much corruption, we are seeing so much
Oh,
anxiety, so much happening in the world.
so much
And there's a
stupidity.
reason, right? There's a reason for that, because we have to align with the truth, we have to align with whatever madness has been happening over the last few years. And whether we do it through forgiveness, or whether we do it through justice, or whether we do it through whatever way, right? We have to move past that. We have to align with whatever the situation or the person or the collective is, in order to move to that higher aspect of our thinking and vibration.
Mhm. I hear you.
But I don't know how that's going to happen or how we're going to achieve that. But like I said, there's that tipping
It's, you know
point
what,
of,
we have to just make sure that we are as aligned as we
yeah,
can possibly
yeah,
be. And each being that we interact with, we know that whether we are actually sharing our truth
yeah,
or not, they will be impacted energetically
yeah,
simply being in our presence, right?
yeah,
And that makes it even more important to be as pure light,
mm-hmm,
as authentic as you are.
yeah,
Makes life a lot easier, and it's
yeah,
empowering, because then
absolutely.
that you don't have to, nobody needs to forgive you for anything, because you're
Mm-hmm,
just coming from a place of truth, right?
yeah, yeah.
Oh, me and my silly truth. I had this woman at a kids play park go absolutely nuts on me the other day, and I was just playing with this kid. Apparently, anyway, it was quite interesting. All these other parents are sort of going, whoa. And I went, don't worry, I can handle this. And it was just so weird.
What
Me,
happened though?
what happened was I'm talking to this woman, and all the kids are in, it's an indoor playground thing,
Mhm.
right? And so there's this woman, and I'm talking to her, and we're talking about the kids, and this little kid's been with her the whole time, and he's smiling and everything. I just assumed this was her kid. I'm
Okay.
outside of the playground. All of a sudden, he comes flying out, and I went, no, no, where do you think you're going? And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
blocked him,
Okay.
and he goes back in. The problem was that wasn't his mother.
Oh,
It
okay.
was his dad he saw, and he was trying to get to his dad. And this
Oh,
crazy freaking woman goes, where do you think you're going? Oh my God. And I just thought, oh God, this woman, she looked like she wanted to punch me. And I'm just this weird little energy being that thought I was playing with this woman's kid. And then all I kept thinking about was that child's probably freaking traumatized by
Yeah.
me. It's like, oh my God. Anyway, so it's just sometimes I have to watch myself, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I figure everybody's gonna understand me.
Well, there's that playful side of you too, right? And
I know every
she
other
wants
kid.
to play.
Ah, this kid,
That
no.
inner child is still there, right?
But
Yeah.
okay, one thing though, I'm at one whole end of this playground. The other one is way, way, way at the other end. That's where his parents are. They're not
Oh,
even
okay.
anywhere near this little kid.
Okay.
But I thought it
Well, it
wasn't
was
in
an
my,
innocent mistake,
it
right?
was a totally innocent mistake.
Yeah.
And plus, why were you that far from your kid? Thank God I didn't do that. In my defense. No.
Oh dear. That is
Anyway,
funny.
bad grandma. Bad grandma. Anyway,
Hey, Catrice,
yes,
would you be open to doing like your wonderful meditations the next time we meet?
totally. That would
I
be
would really like our audience to experience that with you because I've had such beautiful experiences coming out of your circle. So I know it'll just be you and I, but if you
oh
can do like a
yes,
guided meditation, that would be awesome.
totally.
Well, think about it.
Oh hey, no problem.
If you feel called to do it, then we'll schedule a little bit of a little bit of time towards the end or the beginning, and we can dive
Totally.
into a meditation. I think that would be good
I think
to.
we could have a little discussion. We do
Yeah,
tend to discuss quite well together. And
yeah.
then we could use whatever that day's discussion is all about as a focus for going into
Mm-hmm.
meditation. And then
Mm-hmm.
we'll just see who comes through, you know.
Yeah,
I mean, when
yeah,
I do meditations, I certainly don't script them.
yeah,
I open to the
yeah,
highest and greatest good for everybody, right?
yeah,
And so it's always interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that would be a good
I
segue
would
into
love to.
showing people what your perhaps your circles or your meditation is all about. And
Mhm.
maybe through this forum, they get to experience what that really is like. And for me, it's always been very visual and
Yeah.
very deep. I go into a very deep state of meditation with you, and it's really great. So,
Yeah.
yeah, just
I would
something to
love
think about.
to. That would be
Okay,
awesome.
thank you. Let's
No
do that.
problem. All right. You got it. Oh, look what time it is.
I know we've come to the end of our hour. It just flew by so quickly, hey?
Well, it's interesting when you talk about that. You said, why don't we talk about this and we can talk about this? Anything else you want to talk about? And I thought, oh my good God, almost any topic that we
Yeah,
choose, right? You can
yeah,
expand and it gets levels and levels and levels. I don't think
yeah,
it's like we're not trying to teach a course with 10 different items. Do you know what I'm
yeah, yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
so to be able to just share on
yeah,
a topic,
yeah,
you can ask anybody that happens to be listening, watching, what
yeah.
topics would you like to hear?
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely. The audience can recommend we
Sure.
talk about certain things too. Absolutely. Put a comment and let us know what you would
Mm,
like us to talk about. We'd certainly love to hear your opinion as well. Yeah.
totally. No,
And what
that'd
it
be
is you
awesome.
think about this whole ascension journey and this ascension process that we are undergoing right now. So yeah, we'd
Yeah.
really appreciate your comments.
Awesome. All right,
All
my
right, my
friend.
dear. Well,
It,
let's put a pin in it for now, and thank you so much for your time.
okay, thank you.
And
I love it.
yeah,
Fun.
did you have a
Yeah.
good time? That's good.
Well, the whole thing is, I don't talk to a lot of people because they bore me or anyway, sorry. So it's so nice to be having a conversation with somebody that is elevated, And so it's like, yay, I'm going to
Yeah,
sit and I'm going to do a podcast with Raquel, right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's just another little addition to my world this year. Like a lot of
yeah,
stuff, like you said, what's happening? Energy's
yeah,
picking up, and it's
yeah,
like it becomes even more important to
yeah,
be discussing stuff like this,
yeah.
right?
And you have to say yes to it, right? It's just
Uh-huh.
it's like the door is opened and you just have to walk through it, right? And so it's amazing what you'll
No,
find behind that door, right?
I
So
know.
yay! All right,
Right.
everybody. Thank you for
Okay.
tuning in.
Have
Please
a
like and
wonderful
share
week.
this. Yeah, have a great
Yeah.
week.
Remember to breathe.
Yes, yes. And,
Okay.
find that space, find that energy within yourself to raise your frequency so that we can get this work done and flip
Totally.
that balance, if you will, right? And getting
Oh,
to that fifth
God.
dimensional energy field.
Right on.
So thank you, thank you, thank you for watching. Have a great
Bye,
day.
hon.
Namaste.